In your consumer news, April is Financial Literacy Month, and new studies show that right now people are struggling more than ever to make ends meet. Here with some tips to help you be more confident in your financial future is President and CEO of DeWitt Dunn Financial Services, Cathy DeWitt. Good morning.
Good morning, Suzanne. Thank you for having me.
Yes, glad you can join us this morning. I want to ask you, what are the most important money lessons that you think we all need to learn?
Well, there's many of them, but the great news is that the government passed a bill in 2004 that made April our Financial Literacy Month. So there's so many things that's so important. And also just the fact that you mentioned that everybody's living on credit cards. It seems like things are a little bit out of control. But what we really need to focus in on is on, tracking our spending and making sure that we have a budget. And what I mean by that is making sure that we're not spending more than we're bringing in. And that's very important. But you can do that on an annual basis, break it down monthly, and then go to weekly. But what I also find with everybody is that if you will literally write it down, journal it, or maybe focus in on an app and making sure that you're staying true and you know exactly where your money is going, it's going to really help you if you do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, writing it down, visualizing it, that definitely helps. At what point do you think we should tackle debt?
Well, paying down our debt is very important. If we take a look at what happened in 2022, 18% of our debt has just exploded. And then we take a look that credit card debt rose to $330 billion in 2022. And that's the highest level that we've seen in over a decade. But, a lot of people do have this debt, so we need to really tackle it. And what I find is some people like to use the avalanche method and paying off the highest interest rate debt that you have and making sure that you accomplish that. Or some people like the snowball method, which is the lowest balances that you have and just clearing that debt and moving forward. But the biggest thing is you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, that you're paying minimum payments on the balances that you currently owe.
Yeah, the number you mentioned, I definitely believe that, especially with inflation and how it's really impacted so many Americans' lives and what they spend their money on. How we manage our finances, though, can really impact our credit score, too. How often should we monitor that?
Well, personally, I do it on a weekly basis because your credit score is really your financial health. And one of the challenges is that everywhere you go, whether it's going to be for a loan, a mortgage, a car loan, or perhaps now we're seeing employers pulling your credit, you need to really understand what your financial health is. And late payments, collections, high balances on your credit cards, that's going to really drive your score down, and it's really hard to bring it up. And there's 5 different, there's 3 different credit agencies, but there's 5 scores that they look at, whether it's excellent, very good, fair, or poor. But the average score for a borrower that seems to be like a prime borrower is 767. So we definitely want to make sure that we're in that range because it's going to cost us more money in the end to borrow.
And Cathy, you definitely want to check all 3 agencies, right, for that score?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to annualcreditreport.com because you can get your credit report on an annual basis for free.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Some really helpful tips for financial planning and for Financial Literacy Month. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. If anybody has any questions, you can go to DeWittandDunn.com and also download our budget sheet, and that may help you as well.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.